Hello, everyone. Geoffrey Nance here again. Welcome to another edition of Tip Tuesday. So, whether you are watching this live with us or going to be catching it later, glad to have you joining us for this opportunity. I mentioned last week that we were going to start a new series called Springing into Action. And today we are going to carry on that idea. And we're going to start with a very, very important topic. Before we do that, though, let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever started something new that you believed was going to be hard? Have you ever started something new that you believed was going to be hard? So for me, um, I, I grew up, I was playing sports just all the time in our free time playing sports. All right. So some of the sports were hard, and there were definitely times when I was like, hey, this is tough, but it was still a sport. I was uber competitive, ultra competitive in everything. I mean, it could be card game, it could be a board game, it could just be like, I don't know, just stuff, life. First one to the car, you name it. I was like, I wanted to be first. I was just ultra competitive. But then, over time, you kind of get to a point where you're not doing some of those things anymore. And so my wife and I had a little challenge. I guess it was around, I guess about COVID time. Maybe this is about 2 years ago now. And she'll go on these diet things from time to time, and I'm just always like, nah, I'm good. I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, so I'm fine. And then finally, I was like, all right, I'll do it with you, because she really wanted me to do it with her. And I was like, we'll see. So I started doing this diet with her. And originally I thought, I could lose about 5 pounds. If I lose about 5 pounds, I'll look pretty good. Maybe 10. But if I lost 10, I'd 10, that would be about, I'd be cut up. I'd be about right. So we started this thing. And, early on, I was like, so I lost weight and I lost weight, and the food was okay. It was pretty good. I was like, I can do this. But it was a real change in my lifestyle. Like this program, I was like, whoa. And I knew other people had good success with it. There were several people in our office that were doing it or had done it. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So I lost about 10 pounds. And my wife and I, where we were having this contest, like, who's going to lose the most, who's going to look the best after it's over. And again, this idea of competing was motivating me, right? So losing the weight was motivating me. And then the competition aspect of it was motivating me. And so, after about 10 pounds, I went to my wife, I was like, hey, hit the 10-pound mark. Good news, right? Bad news is I don't look like I thought I was going to look after 10 pounds. Well, it turns out what I thought was about 5 or 10 pounds of extra weight was about 25 pounds of extra weight. So I continued to lose weight until I lost about 25 pounds. And now I've been able to basically stay in a range now for over 2 years, but I'm conscious of what I'm doing. Now, the reason that I'm telling you guys that story is the why. So the why did I do it? And I think no matter what you're trying to do, anytime you attempt to do something new, at some point you have to realize there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be roadblocks that you're going to encounter along the way. And when you get to those roadblocks, you have to determine, am I in a place where the destination is worth the hassle? Okay. So for you, you are going to probably enter into a time in your trading journey where you're going to have to answer that question. Is the expenses piling up? Is learning all this all this new material? Is the investment of money that I have in this thing, is it worth it? Why am I trading? What am I trying to accomplish? What is the point of all of this? Therefore, your why, your motivation has to exceed any type of excuse that you might come up with. And one of the things that I've mentioned several times through the years is your desire for success has to exceed your fear of failure. Okay. Your desire for success has to exceed your fear of failure. You've got to figure out your why. So what's my motivation? The song asks, right? What's my motivation? So why am I doing this? And if you can't really fully answer this, then it's going to be easy for you to quit. But if you can say, look, I'm motivated, I have a reason, I have a destination in mind, and I want to reach that. Now, as you go through those difficult times, you're likely to endure. For instance, if we said, all right, let's go take a journey out to the beach, we're going to drive to Florida. And so we hop in our vehicle, everything's fine with the vehicle, and all of a sudden we have a flat tire. Okay, kids are in the back. They're like, what's going on, Dad? Why do we have a flat tire? We hit something in the road. All right. Well, guys, you know what? We hit a flat tire. Let's turn around. Is that what we're going to do? Is that what you guys are going to do? You're just going to be like, we planned out this really cool vacation. We had the hotel lined up. We had the plans lined up for our excursions and all that stuff, but we've got a flat tire. So you know what? Let's turn around. No, but that's an obstacle. That's a roadblock. It's something I have to overcome. And then whether or not I truly continue along that journey depends on how important I think the destination truly is. And again, the why behind it. So why are we taking this trip? What are we going to get out of this? Why is this something that I feel like our family should do at this time? And how are we going to benefit from this? So it's in these times, guys, when you hit the roadblock that you have to kind of figure out, all right, why am I doing this? Why is this important to me? Why do I want to continue to learn how to trade? Why do I want to invest hours every week sitting through, people teaching me different stuff, of watching the market, of looking for stocks and patterns and trying to understand market tone? Why am I doing all of this? Well, it's at those times when you're asking those very pointed questions, when you have to realize that my why has to exceed all of the questions so that I can get to the answer, so that my drive and my desire to reach the destination far exceeds any questions, roadblocks, or stumbling blocks that I might incur along the way. And guys, let me go ahead and assure you here that as you're trading, this is going to happen. It's going to be frustrating at times. Okay. If you go on a diet, it's going to be frustrating at times. You're not going to be losing the weight that you want to. Just say you start working out. You say, man, I'm working out. I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again. When am I going to see some results? And then every now and then you're like, hey, I feel a little bit stronger. That motivates you. But what you're really looking for is, can I get to that point where I've seen significant improvement? Or what's really, really cool is, can I get to the point where other people notice and you're walking around and like, you've been working out? You're like, yeah. Yeah. Because we want that, right? And there's something internal about us that says, look, my hard work was worth it. It paid off. Now, that was day after day after day, hour after hour of me sitting in the gym, working out, doing the same routines for the most part, over and over and over again, day after day, week after week, month after month. And then finally people are like, whoa, you look different. I'm like, yeah, thanks for noticing. But guys, we don't get to that point, right? We don't get to that point. We don't reach our destination if at any point along the journey, we decide that we're going to stop. So I want to challenge you. I want to encourage you guys, as you start to think about springing into action. We're going to talk about some very practical things that we need to do. Some of that's going to have to do with the mental aspect of this. Some of it's going to be very practical, is like, how do we push buttons? like literally, how do we push buttons? How do we think through this whole thing? So we're going to do some practical stuff. We're going to do some thinking stuff. But as we spring into action, we need to understand that the thing that's going to be the biggest driving factor in whether or not we do this for decades to come, and whether or not we pass this knowledge and skill sets on to our kids so that this becomes a generational business, ultimately has to do with my why. Who am I trying to bless? What are we trying to do once we make money? How's that going to impact our family? How's that going to impact my church? What am I going to be able to do for missionaries? What am I going to be able to do to support these kids? Like, maybe I feel compelled to maybe help out several kids through Compassion International or something like that. Like, what is it for me that I'm like, yes, that is why? Like, I want to go around and do random acts of kindness and just buy people's groceries that are in line behind me, or do things like that. Like, is that what motivates you? Is that what gets you excited? Because if it's just about just another job, then I suspect somewhere along the line, you'll just be like, well, I'm ready for something else. But if there's much more to it than this just being a job, and there's a driving factor, a motivational factor behind it that far exceeds any excuses or road bumps, speed blocks that might come along the way, Those are the times we need to remember. There's a reason the Bible talks about whatever is lovely or pure, admirable, praiseworthy. Think about those things, because there are times in our lives, right, when we kind of feel like we're going through a valley and it's tough. And it's during those times we need to ask ourselves, what motivates me? What's driving me? Why am I here? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And how can I bless God through my efforts? And that's what I want to close with today, guys, is don't ever lose sight of this being an opportunity, all right, for you to take something that God has given you and be a blessing to others. Let's go and do that, guys. Let's think of our whys. Let's let the why motivate us. And then let's go out there, start working towards our goals. We'll see you next time.